Speaker Gingrich, what can we learn, not from Donald Trump's final pick, but since you were a part of the presidential or the vice presidential process, what can we learn about Donald Trump in the way he ran that process?
Well, first of all, it was very methodical. He brought in an old pro, A.B. Culverhouse, who had done this many times. They were very thorough. We had about 113 questions to answer, some of which were fairly exhausting. The team that vetted folks, I had 4 lawyers sitting down with Callista and me for about 2.5, almost 3 hours. They went over a lot of stuff. So there was a very methodical presentation to Donald Trump. Again, somebody who's run a big system and made big decisions and is used to the idea of having experts come in and brief him on what they've learned. Second, the core group, Paul Manafort is the campaign manager, Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, her husband, and Donald Jr. and Eric, and then Donald Trump himself. That core group, as a team, was going through the entire vetting process and talking about it for several weeks. And they recognized that this is the first really big, irrevocable decision of his presidency, and that he had to take it seriously, and he took it very seriously.
You this week referred to Donald Trump as a pirate. What does that mean?
Well, no, pirates are folks who are outside the regular order, who get things done, who are colorful. Just go watch Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it's a term, though, that most folks understand. He's not an establishment figure. He's not a traditional CEO of a bureaucratic corporation. He's a guy who has consistently done things that are big and bold and different, whether it's having the #1 TV show in The Apprentice or having Miss Universe or Turnberry in Scotland. I mean, again and again, he's done things that are outside the norm. And I think that he'll be, frankly, a president who's very different than our normal presidents.
You've mentioned before, you said you wished he was about 10% more presidential. What you're describing, that pirate aspect, does the presidency have room for that, or is that just going to make people jittery?
Well, Andrew Jackson and Theodore Roosevelt would have loved the term, and both of them lived it out. I think that it's clear that this is a guy who is going to be different. If you want to break up the corrupt, bureaucratic, incestuous system of Washington, you would better have somebody who has a very strong personality and who's very willing to be in fights. You're not going to get some nice, pleasant corporate bureaucrat to come to this city and dramatically change it. And I think Trump has proven in beating 16 other candidates that he has the fortitude and the intelligence and the commitment that he actually has a chance of really genuinely defeating the old order and forcing it to change, which it will resist very deeply.
What's his biggest weakness?
Who, Trump's?
Yeah.
Probably that he doesn't know the regular traditional Republicans as well as he should have, because he wasn't a candidate. I mean, I was with former Attorney General Ed Meese recently, and we were thinking about the fact that Reagan had, from the fall of 1965, when he first announced for governor, to 1980 when he won the presidency. That's 15 years. By the time he got there, he knew everybody. Trump has done something nobody else in American history has done. This is truly a stunning historic achievement. He came into the party at the very top. He took on 16 other candidates, many of them quite good and quite serious, and he won. Well, you're going to have certain things you haven't gotten done in that kind of a story. One of them is, and I think Mike Pence will be a big help with this, he needed somebody who could be an ambassador to the traditional Republicans who've been around, who are suddenly startled by this new guy who has, in effect, taken over their party.
Can I ask you about that ambassadorship? On the one hand, Donald Trump is saying the system is rigged, the special interests keep the system rigged, and he points to Hillary Clinton and the money she receives as being sign of her corruption. But Mike Pence takes money. Republicans in Washington take money. How do you fix a system that's rigged when you're constantly pointing to these special interest contributions and your own team is taking them too? How do you fix that?
Well, let me draw a distinction between the legitimate process of free speech, which the Supreme Court has defined quite clearly, and the idea that you're allowed in a free society to have thoughts, that you use money to communicate the thoughts. And for example, Secretary Clinton having 76 secret meetings while she's secretary in her office, which she scrubbed from her record. Only the Associated Press finally figured this out. Nobody in the media has yet said, tell us the 76 people, tell us why they were there. All of them apparently were donors to the Clinton Foundation. I mean, the level of corruption that Hillary Clinton represents is unprecedented in American history for a presidential candidate.
Let me ask you a final question. Are you disappointed you weren't picked?
No, I think Pence is a great choice. I feel very close to Donald and his family, and I'm confident that I'll have plenty of opportunity to try to help plan things and try to help move things forward, and I'm looking forward to Cleveland.
Would you serve in the cabinet quickly?
I would certainly serve with the president, preferably in a position that he and I would work out.